In this episode of the Christian Home and Family Podcast, I'm going to tell you how you can stop family conflicts. Really. Once again, this episode of the Christian Home and Family Podcast is brought to you by my book, Recharge. Use this book to help you discover spiritual growth tools that can fuel you. Find out more at christianhomeandfamily.com/recharge. Okay, is it really possible that you can stop family conflict? I mean, isn't conflict a part of every family? Well, I'm no saint, of course. It is part of every family. Conflict is going to happen, but you can stop the effects of it, and you can stop even the frequency of it if you know one important thing, and you're able to pass that on throughout the people within your household. Here it is. Look at this passage. This is 1 John chapter 1, verse 5. It says, God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Now we're going to move ahead to 1 John chapter 2, verses 9 through 11. It says, whoever says he is in the light and hates his brother is still in darkness. Whoever loves his brother abides in the light, and in him there is no cause for stumbling. But whoever hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness and does not know where he is going because the darkness has blinded his eyes. If you haven't noticed in 1 John, he uses the imagery of light a lot. And it's because it's vitally important to understand the nature of our relationship to God and God's relationship to sin. You see, family conflicts usually start because of selfishness, because of pride, because of sin in somebody's life, and perhaps in both parties' lives. You see, conflict is evidence that someone is not humble enough. Someone is not being a servant. Someone is not loving like Christ or God would have them love the other person. And so what do you do about it? Well, this passage tells us that God is light and in him is no darkness at all. And that when we are having conflict with each other, John calls it hatred, when you hate your brother, he says you, at that moment, are walking in darkness. So stop for a minute and think that through. If God is light and you are walking in darkness, what does that say? That says you've moved away from God in some way. Maybe it's just an attitude of the heart. Maybe it's practically you've not been spending time with him, seeking his help, seeking the power of his Holy Spirit in your life. Maybe it means that you've gotten your eyes on things and situations and ways that you want life to be, and you're being inflexible and you're enforcing those on other people, and that's causing conflict. Maybe it means you've gotten your eyes off of the role you have as a member of the family to serve others for their good. Maybe it means you've gotten your eyes onto what you want rather than what others would benefit from. You see, there's all kinds of ways we could apply this. And what you need to understand is the way to eliminate conflict in your family is, number one, for you to go closer to God, who is the light. You to move back into the light. And we talked about in the last podcast how you can move closer to God and the practical things you can do. But parents, here's a piece for you. You need to help your children understand this concept too. Go back a couple of podcasts and look at that flashlight illustration and teach your kids how God is light and our world is darkness. And when we sin, we are in the dark. We are without God's power. We are not close to him. But when we all, as a family, live close to God, daily walking with him, listening to him, reading his word, drawing close to him, that struggle we have with selfishness instead of love is going to begin diminishing because God's light is going to illuminate those dark parts of our lives. So there's two applications here. Number one is for each person individually. I mean, you've got to think this through. You've got to start thinking, what in my life, what in my heart is of the darkness? What is it that's in me that's driving me toward conflict? And then secondly, you need to think broader, especially if you're a parent. What can I do in our family to start facilitating a healthy perspective on this? That all of us can learn to draw closer to the light, closer to God himself, so that those times of darkness, those times of hatred and conflict and strife become less and less and less because love is becoming the aroma of our home. You know, that's another thing John says in the book of 1 John, is that God is not only light, God is love. So if you're closer to God, love is going to start coming out of you. Love toward those people in your home, Yeah, the ones who irritate you, the ones who do the same old things that have always bothered you, the ones who are inconsiderate, the ones who don't do their chores. Love is going to start flowing toward those people. And you're going to find ways to come alongside them to help them grow rather than getting into this conflict once again. So take this seriously. Are you in the darkness in your attitudes and in your actions and therefore away from God? The way to avoid conflict in your family is for everyone in the family to start drawing back close to God, who is the light. Christian Home and Family Ministry is all about radical faith for generations. Oh, that's my heart's passion. I would love to help you understand what that might mean for you and for your family. You can find out more and contact me at ChristianHomeandFamily.com.